Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, one of my favorite days of the week, Wealth Wellness Wednesday, where we chat a little bit about, having that great relationship with money and what you can do with that as an entrepreneur, and it's impacting people, spreading kindness. But good morning, everyone. This is Carol Sue, aka Naughty Boss, live with Two
Sistas. Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0. We have an amazing guest on this morning, but before we do our formal introduction, I'm just going to turn it back over to Carol Sue to explain a little bit more about Wealth Wellness Wednesday.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jan. We often talk about, donating to that favorite charity, right? That is not what this is. Although we want you to still do that, of course. This is really all about paying it forward to an unsuspecting person. So you're actually going to have a financial exchange, but the exchange is actually only going from your piece. And then we're hoping that that inspires others to do the same. So what does that exactly mean? We know that a lot of times, a lot of people talk about, especially with entrepreneurs, and it doesn't necessarily have to be with entrepreneurs, but anyone that really goes after and understands the value of money, the more that you have, the more that you can impact, that you can maybe donate, that you can help others in need. And so, but in order to have that mindset, you got to have a healthy relationship with it, right? Money is not a bad thing. It's just a matter of your perspective and understanding that what the power of what you can do with that. So what do we mean by that? Financial exchange with someone that you don't know. How can that be? How can you do that? Well, I'll give you a few examples of some of the fun ways that we do it. Sometimes you're at a gas station, right? You're getting gas. Well, we know across globally, gas is a little high right now, not right now. So wouldn't it be cool if before that person puts in their credit card that they already see a little bill in there? Now, it doesn't mean, it has nothing to do with the actual financial amount. It could be $1, it could be $5. It does not matter what that is. It's the act of doing it and how you could actually change the direction of maybe someone's day. Maybe they were stressed out about getting that gallon of gasoline, or maybe you're in, say, a Walmart or a Target or wherever you might be, and you go down the baby food aisle and you maybe slip a little bill into a diaper bag, whatever it may be. It's just actually doing the act, because what you put out to the universe, we already know that the universe, our thoughts, our deeds, all those have electric currents. So we want to make sure we're passing out really good, positive vibes every single day, but especially on Wellness Wednesday. So that's pretty it in a nutshell.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We always do such an amazing conversation on that subject. So without further ado, we want to introduce our guest, Yossi Montrose. Let me tell you a little bit about Yossi, though. He has a 20-year plus year background, expert in fitness and nutrition. He has a very unique program. Many of his clients suffer from back and joint pain, and he works with his clients to improve their performance with less injury. Now, who doesn't, have some back pain from every now and then? So we want to take this opportunity to welcome Yossi. Welcome to the TwoSistas podcast.
Welcome.
Thanks, Janice. Thanks, Carol. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. So how did all of this come about for you?
Well, I always had lower back pain myself. Growing up, I had terrible posture. Obviously it affected my back, it affected my joints, my knee, shoulders. I was also very much into sports, so I was training and doing other stuff, but I was just putting more and more pressure on my lower back and my joints. So at the gym, I always liked to be active, but I just didn't know. I was always in such pain, and I went to an ab class the one time at the gym, and they brought out the exercise ball that I'm sitting on and bouncing on right now, and so they brought it out at the end, so I just tried it out and I just took to it. It was fun. That's all I thought it was, and I thought, hold on, this because it's fun. I found other workouts a bit boring anyway, and I was really wanting to improve my training, make it more fun, not boring. And, for standard push-ups or sit-ups or whatever the case is, I wasn't much into lifting weights. I don't like what it did for my body. So anyway, the next day I went back to the gym and I just started exclusively using the ball, just messing around in it. I started researching a lot of ball videos and what's possible on the ball and all that sort of stuff. And I noticed after a couple of weeks, I was like, oh, hold on, like, where's my actual back pain gone? I don't have any more back pain. It's very strange. I've been suffering from so much back pain. And like, it's just like, it's gone. It's like, where did it go to? Like, I had no idea. Like, I didn't connect it at that moment. But I still continued training. And then obviously I thought, okay, click there. You know, what I'm doing, my posture's improving. I could see my strength and stability improving. I'm improving my sports performance on the, wherever I was playing. Like before I couldn't beat them, I was now turning the tables and always beating them. So, you know, I just after a year of sort of training on this, like I completely transformed my life, my confidence levels, everything about myself. And I thought, hold on, if I can do this to myself, I can surely do to others. So over the next couple of years, I went deep dive into researching, getting my qualifications, and just really did a holistic health practitioner with Paul Check. A lot of his courses, he's a great, like he was an early mentor in terms of my journey. And yeah, as soon as I got my qualifications, I started training a few people, and I noticed their back problems disappearing, and I just kept going and going and going, and improving all different types of issues.
Wow. What would you say? Because I imagine, when we, our bodies are going through these changes, whether it's directly from an injury, whether it has to do with age-related, poor diet, there's many, many culprits, let's say. And I think what people are finding as they age, they want to do, things that are putting less stress on their joints and their muscles, more low impact, more resistant type. So obviously because of the ball, like I see you bounced it away there, that, you're relieving that your own body weight is being dispersed a little bit better, I would imagine. You also have the ability, because the ball contains air, so it's almost like a shock absorbent. So do you contribute it has to do with, because I do a lot of bands in the water. I do them outside on land as well, but I find that I'm getting even a stronger workout because it's a resistant workout, but I'm in the water, so it's less impactive, on my joints and my muscles. So does it have something to, obviously you did the research. So what would you say was the number one reason why you're finding better achievements with getting your workouts in and at the same time relieving pain, which is amazing?
Well, you hit the nail on the head. As you said, it absorbs gravity. So you have no stress whatsoever on the body while you're working out. And you can control how much load you're pushing on, depending on what you're doing and how you want to do it. But because my workout is based on the ball as opposed to on the floor, mainly, you controlling what you put into the body. So if you have a wrist injury, for example, you can decide. You don't have to do a full-on push-up. You can basically stand up and just put a little more pressure, moving the ball around with the wrist, and gradually put a little more pressure on your wrists, basically. Same thing with back, same thing with the muscles surrounding the knees. It's all working in a low impact or no impact environment, basically. But what you're getting, the benefits is absolutely insane, because you're getting all the high investments and benefits in, but with like almost zero risks, basically, using the ball.
And I would imagine too, that's obviously less impact and less stress on the joints, because a lot of people,
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
There's no impact on it. You're not impacting your joints. You can make a HIIT workout, high intensity interval training workout, without any of the actual impacts on the joints, which is the biggest thing. Your small stabilizers are first forced to work. You're forced to continue the reaction time, improve your stabilizers, which a lot of the time are ignored. You talk about doing weights or whatever, push-ups. Yes, your big global muscles are working, your chest, your biceps, your abs, your quads, your glutes. But what about all those small stabilizers connecting, the connectors, and all those deep, deep muscles, your TVA, your quadratus lumborum, just like there's so many, your psoas, what about those? You can't train them just from going to the gym and doing static exercises.
And I love it too, because a lot of people, I am not a gym person. We talk about, Jan loves going to the gym, or, I prefer to be in my own environment for a multitude of reasons. And there's maybe one or two machines that I particularly care for, but I found to kind of work around that, using bands or whatever. Time restrictions, getting back and forth to the gym, and the fact that ball, could be right at your home. You could do it at the leisure of multitasking, because a lot of us really are trying to making sure that our health and wellness is in check, but combining it with either multitasking and or enjoyment. And I would imagine the ball is something that the whole family can get involved with. Now, are there different, I would say I've got the bigger ball, but are there smaller balls too? I've never seen that.
Yeah, so there's different quality balls. So I recommend getting a good quality burst resistant ball, because some accidents happen where it's a sharp object or something, and then it pops like a balloon. You're very much at risk, even just sitting on the ball. So if you get a good quality burst resistant ball, it's not going to pop. It's going to gradually deflate. That's number one. Number two, according to your height. So if you're like really tall, like over 6'2", 6'3", you would be getting at least sitting on a 75 centimeter ball. But if you, and the most people, adults, fall into range about 5'3", between 5'3" and 6 foot, or just about, you'd get a 65 centimeter ball. And below 5'2", you need a 55 centimeter ball. And that's, either short adults or even like teens or children, like it goes down to 45 for even toddlers. So and I've sold one, I've used one 85 centimeter ball for one huge person, which I've sold one to him because it was too small, the 75, and it's huge. And I don't recommend getting the bigger one, because then, you're further away from the ground, and that can have an impact if you fall. You need to have the right size, the right quality, so you're safe, you make it as safe as possible.
Right.
And I didn't know that. That there was even different size balls. I never really, because usually, if you go to a sporting good or, wherever, they usually just have the one size. So that's why I'm surprised that there's all these different size balls, which obviously makes sense. We're not all the same size.
Yep, exactly. And if you choose the right ball and the right size for you, the longevity and sustainable benefits you get, people are shocked when they hear my age. When I'm 42 at the moment, people are shocked that I'm 42, but I'm not planning for short-term, this is my lifestyle. So when I'm 80, 90, whatever the case is, obviously nutrition goes hand in hand, because it's really important. I want to be just as active as I am now. I'm going to be doing some crazy stuff on the ball. I'm going to be doing some crazy adventures with my kids. And that's what it's about, is quality of life, not being put on the sidelines because you're in pain or because you can't move or whatever other reason.
100% agree with that. Right up my alley.
Right. And then the other thing too that I will say about the exercise ball is that when you're using it, obviously, I'm just thinking of one experience when I injured my foot and I really wanted to, hit my kickboxing bag. So, thankfully I was stabilized against the wall, but, one punch and I went, woo, so you have to be really careful on that and make sure obviously that you stabilize yourself. And, first and foremost, obviously, safety goes hand in hand with that. What would you say is, for instance, when you're working with clients and they have that aha moment, like, oh my God, I didn't know that I could do this?
Well, look, there's aha moments happen all the time. Like from the first session, they're shocked, they can't believe that the ball, first of all, can give you a workout, like what it does, because most people are used to seeing like older people at the gym or whatever, using the ball, lifting the ball up and rotating the ball side to side and lifting it up and down and maybe sitting on it and bouncing gently like what I'm doing. They're not used to seeing like a proper workout. And where I am now in Israel, most people associate the ball with pregnant women, which it's amazing for pregnant women as well. Don't get me wrong, but it's a lot more. I've trained like athletes, so those aha moments, like I told them in the beginning, like, do you think you could stand on the ball? They said, no chance, no ways. The minute they start kneeling on the ball, but in a safe way, as you said, you've got to progress in a safe way, because the minute my whole thing's about sustainability and longevity, there's no point in doing something that a client's not ready because then they fall and hurt themselves, and then they buy training for a long time, whatever the case is. So everything's done in a safe place. It's about being able to know how to move with the ball. So when the ball goes in one direction, you're not going to go in the opposite direction. It's knowing how to move in the same direction with the ball, so that it's just keeping the impact low, and not actually, hurting yourself.
What would be the probably the most basic movement with the ball that you would tell somebody that obviously suffers, like myself, lower back pain? And my second question would be, do you find resistance from men using the ball versus women? Because women would jump right on it. Like that, to me, that's like a no-brainer. But I would tend to think that men, especially if they regularly work out, using weights, using actual quote machines versus a ball, do you get resistance from them saying like, really? I'm not gonna use that ball.
So the first question in terms of, for really someone who has low back, it's not just one specific exercise. There's a basic exercises in different positions on the ball that is safe and good, for the person. I've trained someone, I'll give you an example, someone who had a huge infection, a virus in his body that left him half semi-paralyzed on his one side. He could not move when I first trained him. Like when I first started with him, he could not move. He was in so much agony the whole time. His gait was literally on one side, like, hobbled on one side and walking like that. The doctors, said they can't do much surgery. It's not going to make any difference, like you're going to have to live with it and manage with it. And there was no quality of life. He couldn't go on an airplane. He couldn't be involved with his grandkids. He couldn't play golf, which he loved. And I started training with him and gave him small basic movements on the ball, and a series of it. And slowly, gradually, he was able to do a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Eventually started standing on the ball and walking and playing golf and going snorkeling with his kids, like after a few years of training. So that's what it's about. And in answer of your second question, yeah, of course, you get some people who are these weight guys who lift weights and like, what's the ball going to do for me, whatever the case is. But then when depending on what their goals, or if they've been injured, a lot of them are injured, so they now need to rehabilitate themselves if they want to get back into exercise. And I've had a few of those, like powerlifters, number one, and weightlifters. They were completely lost in terms of training. They were depressed because they couldn't train. They were in so much pain. I currently have an elite runner training with me because she has some knee pain. But that's a woman. But I'm talking about these men with powerlifting and weightlifting. They came to me and I thought, oh no, like, what's the ball going to do? Honestly, Right. And so they first started, they're like very skeptical. And then I started with them slowly and they're like, whoa, hold on. The ball is like, I can move with it. I can do things. Both of these clients ended up not just getting back into the powerlifting and weightlifting with zero injury and zero pain. They actually started competing even more competitively and started winning against those categories because they developed their core and their base so much that they were able to utilize it in a whole, range of workouts and competitions and improve their overall quality of life. So if someone's doing weights, think about it. You're just putting more heavy muscle on the body and it's just not functional. It's weighing the body down. You're feeling heavy. You want functional muscle. You want to feel light in your body. I weigh 102 kgs. I'm not sure how much in pounds, but it's quite a lot. But I feel like I'm 70 kgs, which is a big difference.
Right.
And weight is all a perspective of a number. And I think a lot of times when people go into starting a new type of program, and especially with the exercise ball, I think that there's a lot of misconceptions about it. And, to hear the progress of your clients from when they started to where they are and what they're able to do today, like that to me is just so fascinating and almost miraculous because they could have chosen to stick where they were. And that's fascinating.
So this is telling me 102 kgs is equivalent to 224.9 pounds.
Yeah, so that's exactly. It's quite heavy. It's not light,
Yeah.
Going back to what you said, it's just you know, the way I find the ball like literally a miracle like machine, if you know what to do with it. It enables you to move and to just not just your body wise, but affect your mind and affect your personality in such a positive sense. It changes who you are literally, because all your small neuro muscles or neuro pathways are talking to each other, and the cells and whatever the case is always. So the mind, the body, converting new neural muscles, new neural pathways, or movement, and all of that sort of stuff. And you completely change from literally your inside out, and that's what I help people do. So it's just not becoming in the same negative state that someone is, and like they have to be there and live with it forever because they hit a certain age and they don't feel good. You can be. It's about being young, feeling young. The age is really just a number.
We preach that all the time, and we do say you've got to obviously embrace and validate where you are in your journey at all times. But for us, it's always been about longevity. And everyone, when they hear that, the misconception is, oh, are the two of you trying to live to over 100? We're blessed with great genes on either side that that is a true possibility. But it's not about the number; it's about being the healthiest and have that vitality as long as we can, because I think we've seen, coming off of a generation where they weren't as active, and sadly, different ailments, diseases, not paying attention to their gut health really impacted their journey further on. And, that's where the depression comes in. That's where you feel a sense of helplessness because you're not moving the same way that you used to. So why not, our bodies are a fine machine and we want to take care of them, but it's also our responsibility to do that. So it's really a service announcement to all people. If you really want to be the healthiest you want, you don't have to be that gym rat. You don't have to be pounding the heavy weights, running the marathons, whatever. There's other great avenues that is going to still give you that success with your body. But I love it because it's low impact and you're actually using your weight in such a way that you're kind of controlling what you're doing versus, using a machine and or weights that you could press the limit and guess what happens? Then you create a situation where maybe your tendons, your joints can't handle it. Now you've got an injury and now you're, further away from where you want to be to begin with. So I love this idea with using the ball. I absolutely love it.
It's just it's unbelievable. I can't tell you what it's done for me in terms of absolutely filtered every area of my life and my client's life. It's just like, you can do so much on the ball. I've created over 2,500 exercises on the ball and countless of different workouts for countless of different things. So the variation, what you can do is literally endless of your creativity. And you don't start off like, I do some crazy things. So it's fun for me. So I keep engaged all the time. Like I'm doing handstands on the ball. I'm doing handstands on 2 balls at the moment.
You better be careful. You may have a circus that sees you and wants to take you away for an act.
I'd be happy to do that. But regardless, I don't expect other people to start off like that. It's all right. I go to them according to where they can handle and then build them up. And depending on what their goals, whether it be strength, whether it be just general health, power, sports performance, you can do pretty much go in any avenue with the ball, but just the difference is you're working every single muscle while you're doing a push-up or as something else as opposed to just a few muscles.
Right.
Now, along with doing a headstand, and I believe you said 2 exercise balls?
1, 2 handstands, 2.
What is your other favorite thing to do? Like it's, let's say it's a must, it's a staple for each workout.
For me personally?
Yes.
Well, I've got a whole lot of different things that I've got to do. Like I've got schedules like where I have to do certain things. Like in my mind, I've got to jump from 2 to 2 balls all the time because otherwise I don't want to lose that. It's quite scary, to lose that. So if I keep it up, maintain it, I always have that confidence to do it because I know how I'm going to land. I know what I want to do. Another one, skipping while I'm standing on the ball. That's another, pretty much. It's crazy stuff.
I got to see that one.
Hold up for a second here. Did you just say skipping as in skip to my loo? Like you're skipping?
Skipping on the ball like that while I'm standing on the ball.
Yeah, kind of like with a jump rope.
A jump rope, yes.
Yes.
Jump rope.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be leaning on my ass. I'm not gonna lie.
Most people would, because and I wouldn't suggest anyone trying it until
absolutely.
until you have so much, you've developed all those neural pathways, new things of movement, knowing how to move with the ball, and then doing push-ups, doing different types of push-ups on the ball is my absolute must. I've got minimums that I've got to do, not to, if my body's feeling, I'll change a variation to make it a little bit easier. If I'm feeling energy drained, if I'm feeling full of energy, I'll make it more explosive and challenge myself in a lot more. So depending on, I listen to how my body, how I feel, but at the same time, it doesn't give me an excuse to cop out and not do anything. Because unless there's some unforeseen circumstance, keeping at it. It's part of your lifestyle. It's so important. You miss one workout, you start missing two. You miss a week, you miss a month, and then you're like, whatever, like going back on the couch, eating, not doing anything. So it's so important to keep it up.
Now, do you implement that every single day? Or in addition to that, you also have another routine that you do and you just exercise every day, but alternate? What is kind of like a typical schedule?
So the minimums are every day pretty much. I have to do them. If I'm feeling completely knackered for whatever reason, exhausted, I won't do anything else. Right. But generally, I have another workout, in conjunction with those minimums.
Absolutely. So theoretically, I mean, and that's the other key piece to it. Like even if someone was doing, 15 minutes to 30 minutes a day, it's something that they can easily adapt in their schedule. It's a ball. So it's not something that the investment wise, you're actually really investing in yourself versus like this heavy duty equipment. But you want to make sure that it's a good quality ball. And who doesn't have 30 minutes a day? Come on, people. We all have 30 minutes a day.
Yeah, investing in yourself completely. That you hit the nail on the head, because you can invest in the machine and heavy equipment. At the end of the day, you feel terrible, and then end up not doing anyway, and then ending up having to sell it or just collect dust. But when you invest in yourself and you learn how to move your body, where proprioception is, where in different levels, you start doing and able to do and see things in such a better quality type of way. And that's what, ends up in a good quality life, with good quality relationships, with good quality, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. It just snowballs into a positive force. And I think if people, grasp that piece to it, when we start taking care of ourselves, we have a better outlook on things. So it also impacts your mindset. So I think that these are all awesome, great things.
And I love what you said about, you enable your mind to really kind of, I don't want to say justify, but, your behavior to how you react to things that you can't do. And you turn that around in a way where your clients are focusing on what they can do. Maybe they start out, as you said, very slow with it and you have to work up. But that enables them. Like, I just think of that feeling that your clients feel when, like, oh my God, I was able to do a push-up, or I was able to do a sit-up. I mean, how fascinating is that? That's awesome.
It's a confidence booster, because that helplessness gets in, especially if someone's very active, for them to have that very structured workout schedule, goal oriented, especially if there's someone that is competing and or just is that gym rat, to go from that to basically you're depleted, there's nothing you can't do because you're maybe doing a little bit of PT, but other than that you're like, oh, when is that going to end? To the fact that now you're showing them that there's another instrument that they can use that not only is going to help them get through that recovery process and building new memory skills for those tendons, joints, and muscles, but something now that they continue with and implement and integrate with what they were already doing.
Yeah, exactly. And as a recent example, I'm training an elite runner athlete. She was so depressed when she couldn't run anymore because she was training for the European Championships and she got injured and her knee ligaments pulled out, and after a K she could not do any running. And she came to me and I started training her, and she said, this is the first time since running that she's felt like a runner's high. And that's so it's an alternative to a runner's high. And now she's back running, like after it's been a couple of months of been training her for. She's now running 20 Ks without pain at faster speed because she's got more efficient and more balanced. Right. And she's building her endurance to get back to the full marathon, which is like 42 kilometers, I think.
That's amazing.
Yossi, what would you say is one exercise that maybe you're working toward? Now, obviously, you have a long history and background. I mean, you're skipping while standing on the exercise ball, but is there like maybe one thing that you're working toward?
In general, or in terms of specific exercise?
In terms of specific exercise.
Well, I'm always trying to improve and to make it more challenging. So, for example, I'm at the moment I've just mastered, or just getting to master, one ball on top of each other, kneeling on the ball without my hands on the ball. So for that specific exercise, I want to actually eventually stand on one ball on top of the other ball and start standing on that. So that's, for that. Then there's another exercise. I'm standing on one leg on the ball. I can hold it for good 20, 30 seconds. I'm doing knee bends. So I want to go into full pistol squats on one leg. So that's another exercise that I'm working on. You see, so each different exercises, I'm keeping on improving and just trying to get better and better and better. And then obviously thinking more naturally as like what I can add in or different things with the exercise to make it a little more challenging. Like, for example, like a swimming pool. I've mastered, hands on the ball in the water and doing a push-up position with my feet on the edge of the water and the ball in the water and holding in a full plank position, basically, and holding it for 30 seconds. So that's the type of, it's limited to your creativity. It makes it a lot harder.
Wow. In the water, Carol Sue.
I know. I'm thinking, I'm already visualizing myself, running on the ball and flopping and actually doing a belly flop, and I'm laughing. So
me too. I envision that too.
I'm sure you do. But that adds to the, I think it's just something different, and it's going to add so much value to everyone in all different levels, whether it's enjoyment, whether it's really developing those muscles, tendons, and joints that you otherwise may not even really be truly working out to their potential, because you're focused on maybe more weights versus this, which I gather just really strengthens. So in many ways, it's preventative, for that runner, especially a marathoner or anyone that's really using these different joints, muscles, and tendons, that they're really adding to the quality of making sure that they've got something preventative to help them not have those injuries.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. It's both preventive and rehab. Like as an example, I tried to go skateboarding like about 2010, I think it was, and I didn't have the right sneakers on. I had basketball, which is terrible for because of the grip. I had no idea what I thought it was just like a event. They didn't give me knee pads. They didn't give me anything. My helmets. So I went on. I thought my core, because I've got the balance. Again, I've tried it straight. It's easy to manage. Then I tried to go down a dip, and because of that grip, I couldn't get off the skateboard, and I completely fractured my ankle and my fibula, and I went to orthopedic surgeon. He says this is probably one of the worst injuries you've seen, and I had to do surgery then and there, and I was in a huge cast for like 6 months afterwards. And once I still was busy training with the ball without using the leg. But once the cast came off, my ankle was literally triple the size. And I told myself, I'm going to rehabilitate myself. And I stood on the ball right there. And for a second, it was so sore, got off. Next day, started standing for 2 seconds, got off. And I came back to him a couple of months later. He says he's never seen such a recovery before. Have full range of movement, and I was starting doing stuff I used to do, jumping on the ball, whatever the case is, squats on the ball. He says he's never seen such a quick recovery. And you can see the scars to this day, and it's still a little bit swollen, but it doesn't bother me at all.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's amazing. Yossi, where can our viewers and listeners get in contact with you?
I've got, either through Facebook, to TikTok, through Instagram. I think those are the three, or email even. Basically, I do a lot of Zoom coaching, Zoom training, especially since COVID. A lot of people do Zoom, and it works. I haven't met a lot of the people that I've trained, and they're getting amazing results. So yeah, my handle's Yossi_Montrose_, which is Instagram, and then my TikTok is Yossi_core coach Montrose, I think. I haven't been on TikTok. My phone broke for a while.
That's all right. No worries. No worries.
Yeah. So you can. I'll respond on either of those.
That would be awesome if you could do that. That would be great, because we know just a lot of people are doing that. They love to look at what's the latest, what's different, what's new, what can I encompass, right? Because it's all about time management. And for a lot of people, they don't have the time to get to the gym because, whether it's further away, just the time allotted in, between the commute. So a lot of people really are trying to utilize what's in their own home and do their workouts. So I think that's
actually, amazing. So actually people who don't want to train at all and who hate training, and a lot of people are like that and find it boring or whatever reason, I tell them to get a ball and sit at the ball at the desk like I'm doing, and just by bouncing for 30 minutes straight like this, while you're working, you can do your type or whatever, do everything you do, you actually feel like it's quite a workout. You just try for 30 minutes straight, bouncing, you know what I mean? And then basically lifting one leg up and trying to a little bit of balance, and and then a little bit, and that's how they get into it, you know what I mean? So even if you hate exercise, you don't have to really drastically change your lifestyle. You can literally bring the ball with you, swap the chair with the ball, and start using it right there at your office. And that's what work is important. It will at least keep your blood flow going and keep you out of manage your pain better and be more productive over the long run.
And I like the idea of the whole balance piece, because that's one of probably the key pieces as you age. Your hips. So you find a lot of people with they get hip injuries. Their balance within their ankles and their feet are not there like they used to be. So I mean, just what you were describing, like lifting one side up, is going to strengthen that hip movement as well. So all preventative things to make us healthier. I love it.
100%. Balance is the first thing that goes when when we age. Right. Gravity's playing against us. You think about it, older people who don't do anything, they walk bent over, there's no balance whatsoever.
I know.
One fall, goes to the hospital for hip fracture, and then they die of secondary infection. And how often is that the case? Just from one fall. The ball with balance, first of all, you're fighting against gravity, which is what it's doing, essentially. And you have a quicker reaction time to prevent the falling in the first place. And even if you do fall, you're able to manage that fall in a lot better way. React quicker, whatever the case is.
Wow.
So literally balance improves not only the quality of life, but the quantity of life.
Right.
Yes, for sure. We want to thank you so much for being here today. Oh my gosh, you provided such amazing information. I've been scribbling notes, and
me too. They're all over the place.
We've learned so much today. And, obviously I've got to resurrect my exercise ball, which is in the other room. I can't wait to do that now. I'm even more excited. Wow. We want to thank you again so much for being here, and hope you will definitely consider coming back on again.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
And by the way, you are the 501st episode. So you are the first in the second segment of 500 episodes. So that's pretty significant. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Wow. And thank you for hosting me. I appreciate it.
It was awesome. Awesome. I'm going to have to go out and make sure I get the right size ball. I got my notes.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
If you need any help, just message me again. And I'm
going to need that help. So you can count on that.
Pleasure.
This has been such an amazing conversation on this Wealth Wellness Wednesday. This is one of those podcasts where I will definitely be re-listening to this one for sure. My name is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0, and I am with TwoSistas,
and this is Carol, so aka Naughty Boss, about to get her ball movement going on. I hope you all are too. Reach out. We are going to make sure that we have all of Yossi's information under this particular episode. And thank you again so much. You've enlightened and inspired, I'm sure, a lot of people now to like get out of their comfort zone. That's something that's doable for them. So we appreciate that. Everyone have a great Wealth Wellness Wednesday. Don't forget to pay it forward. Remember, kindness, gratitude are the greatest of all two human emotions. Take care, everyone. We will see you tomorrow for Trending Thursday. There might be some balls involved with that. Take care, everyone. Have a good day.
Bye, everyone.